It's about 4:15 in the afternoon and I'm off to see a private tuition client. I've got the camera on a chest mount for the first time. Different view, you can see the hands at work here. Not sure if it's better or worse or just different. Feel free to comment. My Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Fridays clients, the rides to them all start down this stretch of road, and a pleasant little interlude which is coming up next in a newly developed area called Riverside South in Bedford. I use this music a lot. I find it endlessly enchanting in a way I can't quite articulate. Look at this little fella. What wonderful world has he made up to live in? Unfortunately, this lovely little interlude is coming to an end. This is one of two commutes I do where a sizable chunk of the journey has to be done in urban misery. Queues of crawling traffic on the left, and the smell. The more I cycle, the more I smell traffic, and diesel is absolutely grim, but petrol is pretty awful as well. Yeah, I should be on the road. It wasn't convenient to cross when the opportunity arose, and I'm very considerate to passers-by. I'll use this pedestrian crossing as the opportunity to join the road. I used to be a pretty humble cyclist because we don't pay road tax. We don't pay anything to use the roads other than ordinary tax, and we're much slower, and if we're not careful we just get in the way. But the more and more I cycle, I realise that actually we're the good guys, providing we cycle responsibly. We're not stinking up the planet, we're not consuming its resources, and when I'm not cycling like this I'm not causing too much trouble. You've got to be so vigilant in a situation like this though. You've got to look in every direction just to see whatever threats there might be and be ready to react immediately. And every breath you take, you're aware that you're breathing in vile stuff. It stinks bad, and it's doing you no good at all. It's doing you damage. What's your view on filtering like this, moving down the line? Is it queue jumping? Is it sensible and that's why they provide areas at the front of the queues for cyclists to accumulate? Is it dangerous, irresponsible? What do you think? There tends for me to come a point where you think it's just silly sitting back here whereas I could be moving down there, not damaging anyone, not taking anyone's space, just not encumbered by the fact that my vehicle is about 20 times bigger than it needs to be to take me where I want to go. This strip of green cycleway is great, but this particular curve here is lethal. For some reason, cars on convex bends tend to cut off the bend, and if there's a cyclist on that bend, then they'll cut off the cyclist, and that's a big danger. This bridge is one of those instances where an electric bike is quite helpful. I'm knocking it into about third gear, I think, and just using a little bit of throttle, a little bit of legs, balance the forces, just takes the grunt out of a Commute. You have to be so careful in situations like this, especially when you're filtering to the front, that cars don't turn left and cut you off. Here's another one of those pinch points where the road gets narrower and narrower and narrower, and cars park irresponsibly on the left, poking out into the road. And the traffic behind you that's going to overtake you just doesn't seem to be aware of what's going on. I've had several very near misses on this stretch of road. And speaking of near misses, you're about to see one. This might be my fault. I move into this bus stop area just to be less obtrusive, but look what the lorry decides to do. Living through that is terrifying. This van stops well short of the junction, but lots of cars poke out, which means you've got to go round them, and the cars overtaking you don't realise that's what you're going to do. So you're in another pair of pincers. So this segment of the journey is the antithesis of the earlier one. There's very little to enjoy. It's sunny, but there's so much to think about, so much stress. Not much in the way of lovely scenery, tranquility. It's not nice, so I suppose you fall back on saying, well, it's a cheap mode of commuting and I'm still getting some exercise, but all the other delights are gone, and of course the imminent fear of death dominates. I have about 6 minutes before I'm due to start my lesson, which is plenty. You might want to moan at me for this. The girls crossing the crossing, they were at the crossing. By the letter of the law I should have stopped, but in practical reality I was long gone before they were anywhere near me. Is that naughty, or is it common sense? What do you think? This next part's done on a bicycle way, which is off the road. It's a footpath, of course, which has been repurposed. It's not a very nice bicycle way. It's rough, and there's not much space, and you have to be very careful because the gates to people's houses often have people coming up with them who aren't ready for bikes to be whizzing by, so you've got to be quite careful. At least it's away from the traffic. then it's back onto the road for the final minute or so towards the client's house. So that's the commute, half the commute anyway, and as you can see, good in parts. Anyway, some moderately contentious content in there. I'm very happy to hear from you. Tell me what you think about the things I said and did. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you next time.